Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. If that music didn't put you to sleep, I don't know what will. Apologize for that little countdown there. That's canned music. That's what they give you. So, Mac, are you ready?
I mean, I'm not even kind of sleepy.
Well, that's good because I'm going to hit the hype intro.
Okay.
I got to do it.
Look what I did.
That's nice. I like it. TV
right?
in the background. Nobody does that. That's like cutting edge.
Good job by J.J. McCarthy. Take the handoff. Alec Manis is going to throw a pick. They give it to Corum. Up back. Corum. Touchdown, Wolverine. Roman Wilson does it again. Finds some daylight. He's got some speed and some blocker. Outside. Turns the corner. Blake Corum down the sideline. Looking over the middle. Caught. Touchdown, Wolverine. McCarthy extends the play, now he uses legs. McCarthy a first down. Good job by...
I didn't know it was going to go again. All right, I like that a lot better. That gets me a little hyped up. Although,
boom,
those are still highlights from the 23 season, so I'm hoping we'll have some highlights from the 25 season. We can make an all-new one. Right?
What about highlights from the 24 season?
Well, that's true. We have Northwestern, Ohio State, and Alabama highlights.
Yeah,
that could work. That could work. All right. Good evening again, everybody. This, as we said before, is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show, where we talk about Big Ten football from a Michigan perspective. Expert trash talk, unrivaled analysis because it is team rivalry. Mac, how are you over there?
I'm good. I'm a little disappointed because I watched a whole YouTube video about how to clean your Xbox 360 for this reason, so that I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it still sounds like a jet engine that's about to take off. I opened the whole thing up. I vacuumed out inside of it. That's like 17 years worth of dust that was inside.
Uh-oh.
And
the dust is getting into your other laptop now.
Oh, crap. That figures. This whole show's gone to crap already.
Already. Hey, we got a bunch of people in the chat already. We got Brandon out there saying go blue, and I've got our logo hiding him. And I shouldn't do that. That's not very nice. There he is. Brandon, go blue. Thunder is out there. Timothy Redmond is calling us the best rivalry show in the nation. Thanks, Timothy. We really appreciate that. That's great.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Let's see who else we got out there. We got Buckeyes Battle Cry. Rob is out there hanging out with us. They actually just released a video a few minutes ago. I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but it is out there. It's talking about Arch Manning, the hype on Arch Manning. So everybody go over there and watch that show. We got Blue Wolverine, as always, out there. And, I wish we could find one of these that actually shows the icon or the emoji instead of the text for the emoji, but that is our Blue Wolverine emoji that we have created for this channel in special honor to Blue Wolverine because he has been a huge supporter of our channel from the beginning, and we really appreciate that. Love having you here. Let's see who else we got. Oh, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on here. Here's Timothy. Or no, it's Brandon. I'm sorry. The boys are back. Mac and Cliff. Yes, we are. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, Wolverine says, I don't know how I found this show. That's all right. You're here. We appreciate it.
I think it was destiny, B-Dub.
But here we are, yeah. Rob says, Mac, you willing to get a tattoo of the name you have displayed?
Absolutely, I am.
Michigan 2027 national champions. Yes, yeah. You'll get a tattoo of that on January 1st, 2028. Provided he hasn't forgotten about it in misery.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Rob. I will totally do that if you pay for it.
For a $1,500 super chat.
Hey, all right. For $1,000, I will get whatever you want tattooed wherever you want. No, not wherever.
Oh, no.
Never mind. No, we're not going. No. Big Ten After Dark still hasn't started yet.
No, that's right. We've got a few things we want to talk about tonight. One is there's an Ohio State fan out there talking about the fallout from Michigan's cheating. Scott Frost has made some rather interesting comments about Nebraska. And we've got a special on the top 25 rivalries, was it? Hold on, I've got it right over here. Let me see.
25?
25 rivalries in college football. We're going to take a look at that. Michigan has 3 in the top 20. So that's pretty exciting. Ohio State only has 2.
I wonder what that says about Michigan, though. Does that mean that like everybody hates Michigan? Just every time Michigan plays somebody, like, I can't stand these guys. Rivalry
time. It's a rivalry.
That's it.
Okay. Thunder here says, Mac, are you sure they're going to win a national title when Bryson is a junior? Bryce.
Yes.
It probably means Bryce. Bryce is, yeah, for sure.
Look, okay, because Bryce Underwood, he's obviously a freshman this year. It kind of depends on how the freshman year goes, but there is usually the biggest jump in talent between the freshman and sophomore year. So between the sophomore and junior year, really all there is some extra experience. You become a little bit more seasoned. There isn't really going to be a whole lot more polish than, say, your freshman season. So the way I see it is that by the junior year, this 2026 class will come in being sophomores. So they'll take their jump into their sophomore year. They'll have this year's players as veterans kind of coaching them up. So by the time Bryce Underwood is a junior, I don't know. I think it's absolutely possible that Michigan wins a national title within 5 years, at least.
All right. By the way, Thunder Redmond, Michigan football there. We are going to be on his show. Oh, shoot. Now, did we say... Hold on. I got to double check what date we came up with. Timothy, if you have the particular date we came up with, I think we said it's going to either be the 21st or the 22nd that week. So we've got time to remind y'all. We'll let you know. But we are going to be on Timothy's show talking some Michigan football. And in the meantime, we're going to be talking some Michigan football here. Let's see here. Thunder, everybody's favorite, Timothy says, everybody's favorite Smash Mouth YouTuber is in the building down the Redmond. That's Timothy. All right.
Yeah.
Brandon says, look, some of those Buckeye podcasts are trying to say Michigan isn't blue blood. Michigan was a blue blood way before Ohio State could claim to be one. Yeah, the whole blue blood argument is really picking up. What?
Yeah, I don't understand the blue blood argument anymore because everybody keeps changing the definition of a blue blood. Like, who are today's college football blue bloods? Well, Clemson and Alabama and Ohio State and somebody else probably. And it's like, right. Michigan's still a blue blood. Okay, I understand that they're not, pumping out natties like the SEC was until paying players became legal, and now the Big Ten's pumping out natties. But still, okay, like Michigan invented football, so shut up and move on. Actually, Rutgers invented football. Yeah, Rutgers invented football.
Because we know what a powerhouse they are now.
Yeah, now they suck.
No offense, Rebar says, you found the show because the rest of us hit the like button. Yes, hit that like button, everybody out there. Especially we thank everybody who has recently subscribed. I can't really explain it. I don't know how the YouTube algorithm works. I just know that we're here having fun talking about football, and we have had an explosion lately of subscribers, and that's just fantastic. We love having you guys here. So if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and we'll get this show out to other people, and we can all have fun talking about football because that's what we like to do. We love the rivalries. We love the trash talk, but at the end of the day, we love to have fun talking about it. We're not trying to tear people down. We're not trying to shut people out. We're just having fun talking about football. So,
I mean,
the 21st at 8 o'clock, that's when we're going to be on Timothy's show.
Is that July or August?
July.
Okay.
Yeah. You told me that was a good day.
Monday. Okay. Yes, I did. Right. Yep. I'm double checking. Yep. That's still good.
Oh,
I do remember what.
Yeah. Before I go any further here, I also have to explain why I'm wearing a Bama shirt with the M over the top there, or the M blocked out. That is because Mac decided to put up a super chat challenge that if we had 5 super chats of at least $1.99, which I think is the minimum, at least $1.99, 5 super chats. Whoever had the 5th super chat could tell me what shirt to wear today. And it was Rob from Buckeyes Battle Cry. Again, check out their channel too. And he said to wear a Bama shirt with the M crossed out. And I found one. I found one for $16, which I was very happy because all of the other ones were like officially licensed and I was going to have to pay $30 for one of these shirts. And I didn't want to do that. I did not want to buy a $30 Alabama shirt. And Mac is wearing black because what was the other one?
I don't remember.
You don't remember. We are on top of things around here.
I've got the next one up. So here.
Oh,
I've got
you're
the
flaking
next
out,
one
Mac.
set
Hold on.
up.
Slow down. You're flaking out.
What?
Yeah. You got to love the internet, folks. I'm going to hit.
Am I back?
Oh, Doug Hotchkiss. Okay. We got in a little spat in one of the comments. Well, not a spat. I disagreed with him. He disagreed with me, but that's all right. He says Ohio
That's a
State was
spat.
playing. Pardon?
That
Now you flaked out again. Man, I'm going to do this whole show by myself. So,
I-
Doug, I appreciate you watching. Appreciate you being in the comments. Respectful as you were respectful. I'm not trying to say anything else. Great having you in the comments. Appreciate that. Ohio State was playing in a sheep herding football conference. Every year they played Michigan was one of their big games of the season. Yeah, I think that is probably true. I think. Jordan says first time tuning in. Go Blue and God bless. Thank you for tuning in, Jordan. Appreciate you being here. Brandon, define blue blood. Royalty to whatever they are accustomed. Michigan is football royalty, one of the most storied programs. This is true. Michigan is one of the oldest college football teams. And there was a time when Michigan built, when they started building actual stadiums for the college football teams, there was a time when other teams were inviting Michigan to play their inaugural games because Michigan was a draw. So Michigan was getting invited all over the country to play at these different stadiums that were popping up all over the place.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh, okay, cool.
We got Marcus Christopher says, do teams change signs week to week throughout the season? Oh, signs. I was thinking signs. What do you mean signs? But you mean the call signs there. Call signs. We're not driving airplanes. I don't think they change their signs week to week. I don't think they have that many. It's difficult for them to learn them that fast, but I do believe they change signs like in between seasons, or they try to. From what I understand about signs, and I'm not a coach, so I can't speak to this authoritatively, but from what I've learned from the whole Connor Stallions thing is that every team has their own sort of flavor of signs. That's why if a coach goes from one team to another team, there's a tendency for some of those signs to look familiar. But from what I understand, they do try to change up those signs as much as they can in between seasons because it's difficult to learn all the signs. So they can't really change them up during the season because that would just mess up everything. But because of the whole Connor Stallions thing, a lot of teams aren't signaling anymore. They've got the
microphones in the helmet now.
Yeah, the microphones in the helmets, the headset in the helmets, so they can call the signals in rather than signal the signals in. And I believe that a lot of teams are just trying to get away from that signaling on the sidelines because every team steals signs. That's part of the game. I don't know why everybody got so upset about that. But there you go.
Definitely, we're definitely going to get into that.
Yeah. Should we? Oh, wait a minute. I got Ducks here. What Charlie Brown is Ohio State going to run to make kicks against Michigan? Which Charlie Brown is Ohio State going to run out to make kicks against Michigan this season? Right. Because of the kicks. I'm sorry. I'm reading these too fast. I'm all excited. Yeah. Because of the kicks one went right, one went left. Yeah. Yeah. Who are they going to get to do that this year?
Yeah.
They're having trouble finding that guy. All right. You want to get into our first story before we get into more chats here? Man,
yeah, let's get into it.
Fast and furious. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it.
I gotta see. Okay, 8 minutes, 56 seconds left in the first quarter, and Michigan is punting. Well, it's still 0-0.
Who have you got playing?
So Michigan, Ohio State at the Rose Bowl, because that might happen.
That might happen. And this is NCAA 14?
Yeah, because the wife won't let me buy a Series X, so I can't play 26 yet.
Well, I don't know why she doesn't want you to spend $600 on a new console and game, but
it's really weird. She said something about like paying rent and electricity and eating food.
And yeah, it's crazy what women are concerned about. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah,
it's so dumb.
Crazy. I don't particularly care for it.
I mean, guys, here's the thing. If you're into something stupid like a satisfying, happy marriage, then totally go for it. But if you'd like to play college football 26, then probably just avoid the marriage thing.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
That's all I'm saying. But if you want to be happy, get married.
Yeah. All right. You want to talk about this Scott Frost thing?
Probably, or else I'm going to get killed.
All right. I wanted to, I meant to watch Justin's show. I know Justin over at Nebraska at the Voice of College Football, also a fantastic show. He was talking about it. I just started to watch it and ran out of time, but Scott Frost said some rather dumb things. And
What?
yeah, and I'm kind of surprised because so Scott Frost played for Nebraska back in '97. He was the quarterback for Nebraska during that season that they now share a natty with Michigan. So that's kind of our tie-in. And then they decided, okay, if you can't beat them, join them. So a few years later, they become part of the Big Ten. So Nebraska was looking for a new coach, and they said, let's bring in that quarterback from the '97 season, which was a fantastic season for Nebraska. That's when I believe that was still Tom Osborne coaching. And Tom Osborne has an absolutely fantastic record. He's the one who's like better than Bo Schembechler. He's better than Joe Paterno. He's better than Woody Hayes. He was just a fantastic quarterback. We never heard about him because we were focused on the Big Ten.
You said that was 97?
And also it was before you were born. But
oh, so it wasn't 97. Okay, never mind.
Well, 97 was towards the tail end of his career.
Right. Okay.
So Scott Frost had a 16-31 record. Let me back that up a second. He was the head coach at University of Central Florida before he came to Nebraska, where he had, what was his record there? It was like 34.
Hang on, I can find
it. He had a 13-0 record. Oh, was that his last season? His last season, he had a 13-0 record at UCF.
Yeah, and they won the national championship.
Right. So then he comes to Nebraska.
Okay, so he was only at UCF for 2 years.
Was it only 2 years?
Yeah, he took over a UCF team that went 0-12 the previous season. They went 6-7 in 2016, made it to a bowl game, though they lost to Arkansas State. And then in 2017, they went 13-0 and won the Peach Bowl against Auburn and claimed a national championship based on the Kali Matrix ranking.
All right.
I don't know who that is, but there you go.
Right. So Scott Frost gets to Nebraska. He's the favorite son coming home. They actually had his first day on the job. They called it Scott Frost Day. They literally named a day, and it wasn't just the university. This was like statewide. They were so excited to have him there, and it was going to be such a fantastic thing. They actually have Scott Frost Day, and then he goes 16-31, and they fire him. And then he ends up as he was a senior analyst at the Los Angeles Rams for, I think, a year before he is now, where is he? He's back at UCF.
Mm-hmm.
And now he does this interview. And here's a couple of quotes. He says, "Don't take the wrong job."
What a dumb thing to say.
He said, "I got tugged in a direction to try to help my alma mater and didn't really want to do it. It wasn't a good move."
Didn't want to do it?
He didn't want to do it, but he took the job anyway and apparently didn't try, I guess.
Okay. No. Hang on. I call BS. I call baloney. I call crap. That is a stupid thing for him to say. He takes over a team that went 0-12 in 2015 at UCF, and then takes them 6-7, makes a bowl game. The following year, takes them 13-0 with a better recruiting class, and then bolts for Nebraska. I'm sorry. If he goes 13-0, I understand he's about to lose a bunch of players to the draft, but like, he can rebuild there. Like, he was having success at UCF. They had a good quarterback even. Mm-hmm. Like, what? Why would he that? No. He wanted to go to Nebraska. He absolutely did. He is just trying to save face right now. That was a stupid thing for him to say.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, he's obviously saying it from the safety of UCF, but still. So another quote here, he says, "It reignited my passion for what I love to do, being around the game and coaching."
What did?
Okay, let me back up here. He goes, "I said I wouldn't leave UCF unless it was someplace you could win a national championship. I got tugged in a direction to help my alma mater and didn't really want to." So he wanted to go somewhere he could win a national championship, which is Nebraska, which is entirely possible, or at least it was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He got tugged in that direction to try to help. He didn't really want to. It wasn't a good move. I'm lucky I got I'm lucky I got back to a place where I was a lot happier.
No. He's just saying, okay, so he might be saying that for a couple of different reasons. He's saying that because he wants to look good to UCF, but he's also saying that because he doesn't want to take responsibility for what happened at Nebraska. I'm sorry, with all of the off-field issues that happened at Nebraska, all of the rumors about showing up drunk to team meetings, about poor work ethic, a whole bunch of
that.
What?
I hadn't heard about that. He was showing up drunk?
Yeah, like he was missing team meetings because he developed alcoholism, was some of the rumors and stuff like that, which have been some of that has been substantiated. I don't know if it went like full on alcoholism, but if you're missing team meetings because you're drinking alcohol, you're probably an alcoholic. So yeah, he created a dysfunctional atmosphere at Nebraska. That's all there is to it. Yeah, don't be a S-word alcoholic coach. CFB fans diss Scott Frost for alleged drinking after blunt Nebraska comments. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Here it is. Okay, yeah. Or don't take a job and spend more time drinking than you do working. Yeah, so, I mean, everybody is just bashing him for all of the drinking that he did. He created a toxic environment at Nebraska. It is his own fault that Nebraska ended up the way that it did. And now he's trying to throw them under the bus like they're the problem. That is ridiculous.
Right. So I saw a few quotes on Twitter, people trying to say that some of the fans are trying to say the quotes are being taken out of context. I know Justin said that the little bit I saw from him that it wasn't being taken out of context, that they were still terrible things to say. And it just doesn't make sense. I mean, he should have just left it alone. He should have not said anything. I mean, at the very least, he could have said, Nebraska just didn't work out. I'm glad to be back at UCF. But to throw Nebraska under the bus like that is just awful.
Well, didn't Lane Kiffin kind of have some issues as well? And I mean, he came back and full on took responsibility for it and thanked Nick Saban for basically saving his career, which he did. I got to look that up. But like, why not just take responsibility and be an inspiration to people who are trying to, maybe, or who are struggling with that kind of stuff too? I mean, just take responsibility for it, be done with it, and move on with your life. And at that point, you can have these young men that you're supposed to be mentoring look at you and say like, hey, he's taking responsibility for his actions. That's a really good thing to do. Michigan scored, by the way, but that's a really good thing to do. I got to move. You can't see the screen because my title's in the way. Can you change my name? Yeah. Okay. So Lane Kiffin, I wanted to. Okay. I am now the focus of everyone's attention.
Yes.
Lane Kiffin's coaching journey has been anything but boring. He's had his fair share of controversies and eyebrow-raising moments. In 2013, Lane Kiffin was fired on the tarmac at LAX after a blowout loss to Arizona State. He was literally pulled off the team bus and told he was done. Wow. Okay. That's kind of insane. So he's been trolling Hugh Freeze for some reason. I don't know anything about that. Apparently like he's kind of known for trolling on Twitter now, which is kind of funny. But either way, like his career was saved basically by Nick Saban after all of the crappy stuff that was going on off the field with him too. So I guess I just don't understand why Scott Frost would do this and why he would say that he didn't want the Nebraska job too. I mean, that's desperate at this point. He's just grasping at straws.
Yeah. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't even know if there's much else to say about it. That's just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me jump back to a couple of things here. I'm gonna hit this. This is what we're talking about. Go back to our chat. I
got one more thing for you real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So continue without supporting you. The issues behind Scott Frost's dismissal from Nebraska. The win-loss record was probably enough for any athletic director to fire Scott Frost, but some stunning revelations suggest that there were far more problems behind the scenes than anyone knew. In a recent appearance on Herd at Sports, Nebraska insider Mike Ulsevier, okay, pointed out that Nebraska AD Trev Alberts can't talk to the press about everything that was a problem during Frost's tenure, but Sevier can. And he listed off a litany of issues that happened with Frost as the head coach. Things like frequently being late for practice and not making necessary phone calls to recruits. Perhaps the most glaring issue was assistant head coaches going to Alberts with their problems because they couldn't address any issues with Frost's. For some fans, the allegations were suspicious and have led them to believe that they couldn't be true. Others who have followed Frost since his hiring pointed out that the allegations have been in the open for years. So, yeah. I mean, at this point, it's painfully obvious that things were happening behind the scenes with Scott Frost. So the fact that he's just going to, oh, I didn't really want that job. I just went to help them out and it wasn't a good situation. Yeah, because you made it not a good situation. You cannot tell me for a second that you couldn't have been successful, at least as successful at Nebraska as you were at UCF. You are a ridiculous human being. Michigan just scored again. And that's just really, really stupid. He's just trying to save face. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I already hit a couple of chats here. Going back to our blue blood discussion, Keith Rebar said the blue blood means great all the way to the beginning. The three true blue bloods are Alabama, Michigan, and Notre Dame alphabetically. If you ask 5 experts, you'll end up with 7 opinions. That's absolutely true. Mm-hmm. But I would agree with that. You've been Michigan and Notre Dame, of course, have been playing football the longest outside of the East Coast teams. And Alabama has, of course, carved their path significantly. I think you also have to include, since we're talking about Nebraska, I think you'd also have to include Nebraska because they've been playing for a long time too.
And they're not bad either. I mean, they weren't ever bad except for when Scott Frost happened.
Right. I mean, during the Tom Osborne years, they were, one of the best teams out there.
I have an idea. Give me 1 second. Who are considered...
So Marcus Christopher says making the OSU argument of UM's sign gate advantage irrelevant. Oh yes, because they didn't use those signs. Let me go back to this one. Marcus had said, did OSU use the same signs from September versus Michigan in November? I believe they did not signal. I think that's what happened in that game is that neither side were signaling. They were trying to run the plays in from the sidelines. So. Michigan was one of, let's see, Brandon says Michigan was one of the first Western national powers to break through. Yes, that is true. Michigan is a big part of why college football is what it is today. I can go on. There's your answer, Buckeyes. Yeah. Tom Bouchard is out there. Go blue.
Hey, Tom.
Okay. What are we saying?
Doreen's out there too. Doreen is, Doreen's in the chat.
Oh, excellent.
Hi, Doreen. How's it going? Sorry for all the crap you were getting from the Buckeye Scoop people. That was really ridiculous. Yeah, they're a bunch of jerks, and it's a terrible situation, and you definitely shouldn't have been dragged through the mud like that. So sorry that happened.
I think Jordan's going to be buying he's going to be buying the X. He's going to sleep on the couch.
Because you have to sell the bed?
Yeah. or his wife will make him sleep on the couch. I don't know.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Honestly, worth it. Like, how long do you have to sleep on the couch for, though? That's the question. Do you have to sleep on the couch for like ever? Is it, a comfortable couch? What are we talking? Anyway. All right. I got this for you. So real quick, I'm just going to call out that 6% of people have apparently not liked the video and instead voted themselves as idiots on the poll that I posted. I posted a poll. It says, have you by chance liked the video? 94% say obviously. 6% say they're idiots. So I just appreciate the honesty, but maybe rethink your lives and like the video. You're ridiculous.
Well, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. The other thing is that we do have a super chat goal of 5 teal super chats. If we get it, you can decide what shirt one of us wears on the next show. And we had to up the price because my wife kept getting mad at me for losing money on college football t-shirts. So if you don't want a super chat, I totally understand. Blame her.
Right. Ed Andra says only 2.5 natties since World War II. That's why people say Michigan is not a blue blood. So I understand that's why rivals say that. That's not really how it works, though. And I think Justin at Nebraska, the Voice of College Football, has explained it this way. And I think we had one of them in the chat said it too. I think it was, I'm not sure. I thought it was Marcus, but the idea of blue blood is it goes back to the idea of royalty. You're not unroyaled, therefore you're not unblue blooded. So blue blood has to do with the age of the team, not the impact of the team. So from that aspect, you could say Rutgers is also a blue blood because that's where college football started and they're still playing. So that's a blue blood team. So just because Michigan has only won 2.5 natties since World War II, they don't get, ousted from the blue blood pack. They're still there.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, I agree with that part. I don't know if I agree with the first part, but that's okay. I mean, no one cares what I think about blue bloods. But I've got this for you. So, okay, widely recognized blue bloods. Are you ready for this?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to start from the bottom going up. So these are the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The top 8 blue bloods in college football. Number 8, Texas with 4 national titles and 26 seasons of 10+ wins.
All right.
Okay. Got it?
Got
cool.
it.
All right. Texas. Number 7, Nebraska, 5 national titles, 28 seasons with 10+ wins. Number 6, USC, 9 national titles, 28 seasons with 10 wins. Notre Dame, 12 national titles. Oklahoma, 7 national titles, but they're considered more of a blue blood than Notre Dame because they have 42 seasons with 10+ wins. 42. Holy crap. Michigan. This says Michigan only has 10 national titles. They've got 12 now. That's
12,
ridiculous. Yeah. 12 national titles, 32 seasons with 10+ wins. Ohio State, 7 national titles, although I think that's 8 now. And then 32 seasons with 10+ wins. So actually, Michigan's more of a blue blood than Ohio State is and has been for a while. And the reason being is because Michigan has like 5 more national championships and just as many 10-win seasons as Ohio State has.
Well, all right.
I hope this data is not wrong because I'm going to feel like an idiot.
Doug says OSU having the best wide receiver that their QB has no time to throw to, having the best safety that is 10 yards back on most of the 40 carries that Michigan ran. Yeah, that seemed to be their issue. They couldn't catch Michigan's.
OSU having the best wide receiver that their QB has no. Yeah. Okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because Ohio State doesn't recruit in the trenches nearly as well as Michigan does. And then they also don't develop in the trenches nearly as well as Michigan does. And if that continues, which it seems like it's going to, then Michigan's going to own this rivalry for the foreseeable future. No offense, Peter and Rob.
Doreen.
And Doreen. Sorry, Doreen.
Brandon says there's no such thing as a half a natty. Yeah, I would agree with that. You got to say that because before, like in 97, when Nebraska and Michigan were given, co-national championships, it wasn't half each, it was 1 each.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else you do it with like Keith is saying here, you got 130-ish teams. I think it's 132 teams in the NCAA. How do you pick one as the best unless you have a playoff system? But even then, I still don't think the playoff system actually picks the best team. I think it just picks the best team out of a certain group of teams.
Yeah, well, Ohio State kind of ruined that narrative too because they went 10-2 in the regular season, one of their losses being to 6-5 Michigan team, so they shouldn't have been in the playoffs to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But they were, and then they won it. So now every time somebody says, well, we got to expand the playoff, when you try and argue against that, they're just going to look at Ohio State 2024 and be like, well, Ohio State went in one of the lower seeds into the playoffs and won it. Like was one of the lower ranked teams in the playoffs and won the whole thing and in dominant fashion, mind you. So, we got to expand it because these teams can all compete for a national championship. And it just cheapens the regular season. I mean, the national championship should be won during the regular season just as much as the playoff, but whatever.
Right. This is something I've been wondering too. Blue Wolverine says, couldn't imagine just winning a natty and being so angry. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of Ohio State fans, and I'm gonna again. We've got Rob and Peter and Doreen. They're not mad. They're very excited about their team winning a national championship, as they should be.
And they're just great people,
right? And it does seem like there's a lot of Ohio State fans out there that are still picking fights, even though their team won the national championship. Doug brings up the point-a-minute teams. Yeah, I remember those. Well, I don't remember them. I remember reading about them.
I was there. I watched them in person.
All right, let's. Actually, speaking of.
Doreen's got it. Doreen's saying bye.
Oh, bye, Doreen.
Yeah,
Thanks
bye, Doreen.
Bye. Appreciate
it. Nice to see you again.
Here, I want to go to. You had put out on our community tab. Oh, there we go. Comment your thoughts for a chance to win. Chance to be featured in our next video. What are your expectations for Michigan football in 2025? And I need to move this. Sorry, everybody. I got to get stuff out of the way here. Let me hide that. So here we got 2 comments on it. A lot of times I have to say this was a lesser active one, because usually these things get a lot of comments on them. But this time we only got 2 of them. So the first one comes from Ken Weesaw, who says the national championship, baby. That's his expectation for Michigan in 2025. I love the optimism. I don't know if we're going to get there. You got to give it a little bit of time.
What if we do, though?
I mean, it would be fantastic.
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, so if Bryce Underwood is as billed, then he's going to be good, and he's going to be JJ McCarthy, if not better. Okay.
Yeah.
The wide receiving core, it was, with all due respect, in 2023, it wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire, but they were good. And they were good enough. What was the thing that won Michigan the national championship in 2023? It was the trenches. It really was.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the trenches, and then everyone else did their job.
Yeah.
I mean, and they did it well, for sure. I mean, JJ McCarthy definitely helped. I mean, he absolutely did. I don't know that Michigan's winning a natty with, with all due respect, Cade McNamara under the gun at that point. But if Bryce Underwood is as expected and the wide receiving core is, 2023 levels, we already expect the defense to be just as good as last year, if not better. And if you remember, during that last little stretch of the season, they were incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Then really it just comes down to the offensive line, which played pretty well against Ohio State and Alabama. And now they're coming back and they're even better. And if we can figure out, I think it's the right tackle situation. I mean, now there's a chance that in the growing pains that Michigan sustains with the offensive line, they drop the game against Oklahoma. If that happens, then it's not the end of the world. If it's a blowout, then we have some questions. If it happens and it's close, it's not the end of the world. It's a road game. It's an SEC team. Oklahoma is, I don't love Norman at night, basically. Oh, that sounds inappropriate. I don't love Norman Stadium in a night game atmosphere. So we're about to go all Bates Motel up in here. What was I just saying? Oh, yeah. So if they drop
Norman
that game, but it's close, then okay, fine, whatever. But if they don't, or if they get better through the season, what if? I think a natty is. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm not saying I expect it. I'm not even saying I think they'll get close. I'm just saying that if there was a dark horse for the national championship this year, it's Michigan.
So Jacob's tournament. I don't know if you've met Jake. I actually know Jake personally. He goes to church with me. Great guy. Jacob's tournament says his expectations for Michigan football in 2025 are 11-1. 11-1 is the best case scenario. 8-4 is the worst case scenario. My expectation is that we lose at Oklahoma, at Southern Cal, so that's USC, at Nebraska. We drop everyone's expectation of how good we are. We'll be underdogs to OSU again and shock everyone by winning again to be an at-large bid for the CFP. No Big Ten championship game appearance, as I expect that to be Penn State and Ohio State. What do you think? Good call?
I don't think we're losing at Nebraska. I like Dylan Raiola. I think that Matt Rule is doing something interesting at Nebraska. I don't think that they're there yet. I think Scott Frost screwed over that program, man. And I think Matt Rule is going to need a few years to get something in place. And that's just going to be exacerbated because the rest of the Big Ten is as good as it is. And the fact that they brought in USC, Oregon, Washington's on the come up, UCLA. That's what I was thinking of. Who's the other one? No. UCLA. We'll see. I just think I don't think that we're going to lose at Nebraska. I think that the defense is going to keep us in that game. I think the offense is, we'll see. But Southern Cal, I've heard a couple of people say that they're actually kind of concerned about that one. I am too a little bit, just because you're traveling all the way out to Los Angeles, and let's be honest, who willingly travels to Los Angeles at this point? Like, I don't think that's really a thing that anyone wants to do. So you're already stressed out,
Right.
So how are you going to play your best football when you're stressed out? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We'll see. The travel could be an issue. It just really depends on what Lincoln Riley's able to do this season. I think that there's a lot of pressure on Lincoln Riley, especially because he's so far got the number 1 class in the 2026 recruiting cycle. If USC doesn't win something relatively significant this year, then I think you're going to see some of those targets start to flip. And if I'm not mistaken, Michigan is kind of targeting a couple of those recruits that are currently committed to USC. So I think there's a lot of pressure on him. And D'Anton Lynn's done a fantastic job with that defense. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. I feel like Michigan's still going to win that game, though. I think Michigan still wins that one. Hey,
I was reminded that last season, USC, after they beat LSU, was being picked to either win the national championship or win the Big Ten.
Yeah. They were considered maybe a dark horse for the Big Ten at that point, or at least in the Big Ten championship running.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went 8-5 or something like that. So not quite.
Okay. Yeah. They didn't,
but then we all found out that LSU was overrated, which, that tracks. Brian Kelly's the coach.
Right. For now.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens with him. In any case, I guess out of all of these matchups, I think probably Oklahoma scares me the most.
Yeah.
Right now, anyway.
Oklahoma's a wild card. I agree.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. If nothing else, those teams there, Oklahoma, Texas, Nebraska, in that area, even if they don't beat you, they still leave you bruised and battered.
Yeah,
and you're not going to walk out of that stadium whole.
Yeah, I think that they are a good, solid former Big 12 team. They're probably a good fit for the SEC just from a brand standpoint and what they used to do on defense. Anyway, their offense under Lincoln Riley anyway was ridiculous. They were very good. Jalen Hurts, when he played quarterback there, he was very, very good. They did some really good things there. Defenses were always the problem, and defenses have been the problem for Lincoln Riley for quite some time. So bringing in D'Anton Lynn at USC was a good thing to do. Brent Venables kind of, I don't know, the whole program seems to be kind of suffering under Brent Venables at this point. And I don't necessarily think that they're not going to fall apart per se, but there are, I've heard some rumors of people saying that Brent Venables is kind of coaching for his job this season. So, maybe that means that they pull out all the stops against Michigan. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But that being said, they think that they've got something going in this new quarterback that's coming in as well. We're just going to have to see. I don't think Brent Venables is really the answer for Oklahoma.
Let me I gotta hit something here. So Blue Wolverine says this is full deja vu. It's full deja vu of the infamous OSU shirt show. Yeah, that was a total shirt show. Yeah. All right. He also says $50 to take it off and cut it up like Mac had to do.
Hey, if we get the $50 super chat, he'll do it.
All right, you're all up for that. Good.
Yeah.
So there you go, Blue Wolverine. You want to do that $50 super chat? I will cut up this shirt. I also will turn off my camera while I change shirts. I just want to be clear on that.
Please, for the love of God.
It's like shining like the sun when I take my shirt off.
It's like shining like a star that's about to die.
I just mean the paleness here.
Yeah.
Blue Wolverine also says he offered to fund the PS5 and you declined. Oh, that's right. You declined like an Xbox fanboy.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not playing a PlayStation. The controllers make no sense.
Yeah.
L1, L2, R1, R2.
Sure.
I need an RT and an RB.
Right.
All right. That's what makes sense to me.
So Timothy says, what is going on with Ohio State quarterback battle? They haven't been a positive news lately. I haven't heard too much about it other than I think, Mac, you talked about it. Julian saying it's like they really love him and then they don't like him and then they love him and then they don't like him. But I haven't heard anything reported specifically. So all of that is just sort of hearsay, really, or I guess it's our opinions and all of that.
So I can kind of offer a little bit of information there.
All right.
Mildly unsubstantiated, but Ohio State's Ryan Day disclose. Oh no, this is substantiated. Okay, so Ryan Day discloses compelling news on quarterback battle. Let's see here. So they must find a new solution under center since Will Howard is now playing quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The first time he's gotten himself a pair of gold pants, by the way. I'll just throw that out there. As a matter of fact, Buckeyes head coach Ryan Day revealed that Lincoln Kienholz was actually ahead in the competition until Julian Sayin put forth a great performance in the team's spring game. He said, quote, I felt like Lincoln going into the spring game was a little bit ahead of Julian. And then I thought, if you just watch the game, Julian probably performed a little bit better than Lincoln during the spring game, and here we are. So going back through, watch the spring practices, look at the grades. They're very similar, so we'll take it into the summer and we'll let them play. The fact that the quarterback... Okay, so this is from the article. The fact that the quarterback race is so close is relatively surprising considering how highly Sayin was touted upon being recruited by Ohio State. A 5-star prospect, Sayin even drew some early Heisman Trophy buzz earlier in the offseason, and that came after the 19-year-old threw just 12 passes in 2024. So,
all right,
there is a quarterback battle happening. Oh my gosh, Blue Wolverine! I can't even, dude. You're amazing.
Now I gotta flip down here. Okay.
Oh, sing Mr. Brightside.
Or the Victors.
No, sing Mr.
I don't know the
Brightside.
lyrics to Mr. Brightside. I hate that song.
I'll put what? Why?
Because it's a stupid song.
It's not that bad, is it? I don't know. Isn't it about a guy who's getting cheated on?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
I feel like they just picked that song to play at games because it was popular at the time and they didn't really know what to do. So they just went with it.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. So,
well,
at
any rate, thank you, Blue Wolverine. We'll really appreciate it.
Wait a minute. What? This isn't what I thought it was. Anyway, no starter has been named yet. The battle will continue through summer and fall camps. The pressure to make the right call is intense because they play Texas in week 1. Jeremiah Smith, however, said that Julian Sayin can make any and every throw, and he's going to be scary for opponents. I think that Ohio State is in trouble.
Yeah.
I do. I think that they're in trouble.
What Steve Dace was saying that there's a chance Ohio State goes with 4 losses.
Yeah, Michigan, Penn State, Washington, and Illinois. Yeah. 10.5 is the over/under, and then he said take the under. That's just wild.
Let me back up here. Okay, we'll get to the t-shirt cutting by the end of the show. I have to go grab another shirt. Let me grab a couple of these here. Michael Dallas fan in DC. Oh, there we go. Dallas fan in DC. Campbell. Okay, so Notre Dame has 13 national championships by the NCAA and actually have 22 national championships if they claim them all and they have 2 dynasties in the CFB. Yeah, I mean, we all know that Notre Dame is a fantastic team. No need to rub it in.
Well,
thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Keith says, if Michigan's defense is as good as it was against Bama, Underwood runs like Robinson and throws like Henny, we could win them all. Go Blue. Oh yeah, Keith had that in one of the comments on the videos. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would love to see that. Michael Dallas says, or I'm sorry, Michael Campbell says, check off other teams that are planning to be better too with better players they will have on the field in another game now. Okay.
I don't really, yeah. Sorry, I don't really.
Patrick Green, you guys are out of your league.
That is true. Just ask my wife.
Just in general, are we out of our league, or is there a particular league he's talking about?
I took it to mean romantic.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like he's getting freaky in the chat, which is making me really uncomfortable. Maybe calm down there, buddy. Because again, team rivalry after dark is we haven't gotten
not a thing yet.
We can't start it just yet.
Brandon says Scott Frost damaged Nebraska culture and set them back even further. Yeah, he's agreeing with you.
Yeah.
We got Blue Wolverine out there. We got Moose out there. Michael says, you guys are sending in so many chats. We may have to start refining this. USC will outscore Michigan, and too many fans are looking at Lincoln Riley and not everything else. USC doesn't need Lincoln Riley to be elite again. Well, that's probably true.
And not everything else. USC doesn't need Lincoln Riley to be elite again.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of do, though. I mean, they need.
Well, I guess what does that mean? I mean, USC is a great program. That's an elite program. It's a national brand.
It is.
So
yeah.
If they were to bring in another coach, they could still continue to recruit and not really have a problem there.
They could definitely sell the brand. I think the issue is that they haven't quite mastered the balance between good offense and good defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, like I said, I think bringing in D'Anton Lynn was a very good thing for them. And I feel like they're going to get better on defense. They now need the offensive stability to go along with it. And is it falling off because Lincoln Riley kind of took a step back from the offense to try and fix the defense? Or did he step back away from the defense and that's why the defense is getting better? Not sure what that says about Lincoln Riley, but clearly he's not good with defense. But that being said, I mean, elite is a weird subjective word. Whatever elite means, I don't know. I think that they just haven't figured out what it means to play balanced football just yet. And I think that he kind of came into USC at a bad time because Michigan was surging, or at least getting better. Ohio State under Urban Meyer was just incredible. And then under Ryan Day kind of continued that until he stubbed his toe on Michigan. Then COVID happened. And now you're in the Big Ten and you have to actually play defense every week.
Yeah.
It's problematic for them.
Right. I got to apologize, guys. There are so many chats coming in now. I can't keep up with all of them. So I'm going to have to skip a few. So if I skip you, it's not because I don't want to hear from you. It's just because there's so much going on. Really appreciate it. This is fantastic. I think we've actually got more people watching now than we ever have before. So that's pretty exciting.
I wanted to say we did hit an all-time high of 86. Yeah. We are averaging 66 viewers, which is double our normal average. So thank you so much. This is absolutely incredible. Yeah. And we're really honored that you guys would all come hang out with us and talk some ball.
And to show you how honest I am here, I'm going to put up David Kraft here. David, thanks for being on the show. How many natties did Bo win? None. Somebody in here too had I must have lost it now. That Ryan Day has more natties than Bo Schembech. Oh, there it is. That was Ed.
Ryan Day has more natties. Yeah.
Which, yes, that is true. Bo Schembechler did not win a national championship at any time. He did win, I think, 12 or 13 Big Ten titles. I did not do well in bowl games. He was less than 500 in bowl games. he was very much a, beat the guys in the backyard, and he did that very well. He had a win total of what was it, like 198 to 50 or something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I know it's pretty high. But yeah, he doesn't have any national titles. Ryan Day already has more national titles than Bo Schembechler. That is without a doubt true.
I can look it up real quick.
All right.
194, 48, and 5.
There we go. 194 to 48. Yep.
Never had a losing season, and 16 top 10 finishes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Moose. Yeah, the hammer is coming. That's why recruiting has been on fire in June and July. LOL.
Yeah, sorry.
Nobody thinks the hammer is coming.
Nobody thinks that.
Not nobody. Rival fans all think the hammer is coming, but that's it.
Yeah. When do we find out? We find out like the day before the season starts, right? Or at least that's the end of the period thing. That whatever.
No,
it's
I
like
think
30
it's right before the Ohio State game, I think.
No, I think it's right before the season starts.
Is it right before?
Because that's what everybody was
All
making
right.
the joke. Like at noon, the day of the game, we're gonna find out that Michigan gets like a postseason ban or some nonsense, and they've basically already said that that's off the table.
Yeah. So Desh Cantor had already done the research there. How many natties did Bo win? Great question. 0, but he had 13 Big Ten titles. Yeah, it was close. I think I said 12, which is 12 more than Ryan Day. More importantly, he had 13 seasons with 2 or fewer losses. Okay. So since we're okay. I sound like Joe Pesci now. Since we're talking about Ohio State and the whole scandal and all that, I see that popping up in the chat there, especially with the hammer coming and all that. Let's get the wave going. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Keegan, how you doing, man?
Hey, Keegan.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the cheating scandal fallout.
Oh, boy.
As soon as I can switch over.
Rival fans are going to like this one. This is going to be great. We're about to lose everybody. We got 69 people watching right now, and all of them are about to peace out.
Okay, so this came from, actually, let me back up here. This came from Toyminator? Let's go with Toyminator.
Toyminator?
All right. So he put out this post right here. Overlooked fallout from Michigan's cheating. And now, Mac, how do you want to do this? I'm going to go through and read these off, and you can give us your opinion on it, all right?
What? Sorry,
I will follow up. I'm going to read these off, and you're going to give your opinion.
This guy's proposing to his girlfriend and just ends up getting swept over a waterfall. He's okay, but it's really funny. There you go. Wee. All right, what are we talking about?
What are you watching?
I'm watching a video on X. This guy is posting a...
Mac, we're doing a show. We're doing a show.
This is the funny part. That's why we're billed as comedy. This is the part where we make jokes at other people's expense. All right, yeah.
So start making jokes at your expense. All right. Overlooked fallout from Michigan.
Dude, you just described my life.
Cheating, as Isaiah Hole likes to say, although he says a little better than I do. Draft stock manipulation. Some players looked better versus opponents who didn't know plays were coming. So there's a couple of things being implied here that the Michigan players knew what plays were coming. And do we have to go through this again?
Yeah, apparently.
So here's the thing. Some rival fans, in particular this guy, seem to be under the impression that Michigan stole playbooks from other teams. That didn't happen. Let's go with worst case scenario. And Connor Stallions sent, 8 people to various games. And I think they said that, 12 of the games were Ohio State games?
Wow, really?
Yeah, but not all of them were attended. I think they only have evidence that one of them was actually attended. So worst case scenario here, somebody went to one Ohio State game and with a cell phone recorded the sidelines from who knows how far away and who knows how well. And if I'm understanding correctly, Ryan Day likes to run a lot of plays, and they run some 50 to 60 snaps per game. There are, according to James Franklin, 600 combinations of plays in a playbook, which means you've got 10% of the playbook being used in any given game. So the suggestion then is that they used the exact same 10% of plays in the next game, which seems silly. Also, you have to consider, what did that footage look like? Was this a professional videographer taking this? Did they hold their hand steady? Did they get the right player? And there's so much that falls off on this that it just seems silly. And I know they're going to say, well, if there was no advantage, they wouldn't have done it. I mean, sure, but still, the advantaged gain is, I mean, minimal at best, and it's certainly not the playbook, which it seems like so many rival fans think. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just knowing the play is coming, you still have to play the game. So the next one here, others looked worse on tape versus Michigan, potentially hurting their stock. I mean, he says potentially here. So, okay, potentially it didn't matter. Example, and I love, this is the one I love. Stroud's legacy may have hinged on the Georgia game. He almost never got that shot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Ohio State played Georgia, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it
and
happened.
Lost.
Yep.
Did Michigan have something to do with that?
No. Okay, I also want to point out, because this is stupid. This is just stupid. All right. So all Connor Stalions was able to do was identify, I mean, whether it was pass or run, and potentially which side of the field it was going to be on, or if it was like a deep pass or something like that. It wasn't, I mean, he wasn't able to call out routes. He wasn't able to call out, this is exactly where the ball is going. This is which receiver is going to get it. There was none of that. It's literally, if you play NCAA 14, oh, wow, Ohio State came back. It's 27-20. Anyway, if you play NCAA 14, before every play, you have the option to adjust your defense towards like run middle, run left, run right, pass, that kind of stuff, or call an audible based on the formation that you see from the offense. That's what was happening. Mm-hmm. Only Connor Stalions was looking at the signs and just kind of piecing it together. I'm sorry, but when somebody's doing this on the sideline, what is that? Is that a run? I think not. That is a pass. All right. When somebody's doing something like that on the sideline, he's just able to put things like that together. But also you can see from the all 22 what signs are being signaled and then what play is running. So if he's doing something like that on the sideline and Connor Stalions then looks and sees what play is being run, you can just put it together. And he did. And he built himself a database. And so when he saw that particular sign, he just goes to his database and said, okay, this is the run or the play that is associated with that particular sign. And then tells the defensive coordinator or the offensive coordinator, and then they call an audible. That's strategy. That is not illegal. Also, Ohio State, coming into the 2023 Michigan game, changed their signs and I believe started running plays from the sideline to the field. And Michigan still beat them. And it could have even gotten bad at one point. So stop. Just stop. Okay, others looked worse on tape versus Michigan, potentially hurting their stock. CJ Stroud didn't hurt his draft stock against Michigan. He actually looked pretty good, aside from the one interception that he threw in 2022, just trying to get the ball away. But you can understand why he was trying to get the ball away and it was intercepted by Taylor Upshaw. He didn't hurt his draft stock against Michigan. Okay, if anything, the defense, Lathan Ransom, Denzel Burke, they're the ones who hurt their JT Tuimoloau. They hurt their draft stock against Michigan because they couldn't stop anything. So no, I'm sorry. Stroud's legacy. I mean, he still made it to an NFL team, and he's doing really good at that NFL team. Him and Nico Collins are kind of lighting things up right now for the Texans. So no, I'm sorry. This did not stop CJ Stroud from having an NFL career or from accomplishing everything he could in college. If Ohio State had anything resembling a decent defense in 21 and 22, then there you go. Now, listen, I'm sorry Kyle McCord threw 2 interceptions against Michigan in 2023. Actually, no, I'm not. But you can't deny the first one, Marvin Harrison didn't try to go for the ball. He just didn't. Was it Will Johnson, I think, that took it from him? Hey, Will Johnson jumped the route because he's really good at doing that kind of thing. And you'll notice he did that thing in 2024 against USC. He jumped the route, took a pick 6 against the first team, Fresno State, jumped the route, got a pick 6. I mean, he has a history of doing that kind of thing. So that makes sense. And then the second interception that Kyle McCord threw in 23, it was off his back foot. He was being rushed like heavily. And Rod Moore was able to come up with the interception. Now, if you're going to tell me that's just because Michigan knew what play was coming, you're ridiculous. You're just ridiculous. If Michigan actually knew who was going to get the ball and where they were going to be on every single play, do you think that the 2023 Ohio State game is close? No, because Michigan had had better talent at basically every position except for wide receiver. Sorry, that's just how it goes. Do you think the Penn State game in 2023 is close? No, because again, Michigan's better at basically every position. Frankly, if Michigan if Michigan actually had Penn State signs, would Michigan have been able, or would Michigan have needed to go to running the ball basically every play in the second half? No, because Penn State wouldn't have been able to do anything. So Michigan could have done whatever they wanted. All right, I'm done now.
Glad you mentioned that. Penn State Sports Talk. Again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you being out there. Says, no way a team can run 30 times in a row. And he says, I think they knew our gaps and where our linebackers were. And I just want to, you can talk more about this, but I just want to point out that defense always has the advantage. That's well known in team sports, that the defense always has the advantage because all they have to do is see what's coming. So if Michigan is able to, if Michigan knew their plays or knew their defense, I mean, I'll give you 1 or 2, maybe 3 successful runs before. Can I say a good coach? I'm sorry. James Franklin is a good coach. Yes. But for James Franklin to allow Michigan to literally get away with running that ball that many times is not Michigan knowing the plays. It's James Franklin not knowing how to reset his defense. Fair?
I think so. Yeah.
Free Climb points out, again, hey, Free Climb, Little League football allows advanced scouting. Just saying. I believe high school also allows advanced scouting. I believe the NFL also allows advanced scouting. So this whole, Michigan has the biggest cheating scandal of all time is just, it's silly. So
I saw a chat that said the all-22 doesn't show the sidelines. Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
That's kind of the point, actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
It may not show the sidelines all the time, but it does show the sidelines.
Yeah.
So the next one is recruiting impact. Winning equals momentum. Recruits gravitate to teams with CFP runs and inflated success.
Sorry, say that again.
So the recruiting impact, he says that winning equals momentum and recruits gravitate to teams with CFP runs and inflated success. And I got to be honest with you. This was my argument too, that you don't have sustained dominating success by cheating. And you certainly don't have, Michigan had 18 players recruited that season. The NFL, if they knew what was going on and thought it was bad, they would not have drafted those guys because they would have known, they're not actually good players because they cheated. agents for these kids coming out of high school are going to tell them Michigan is not a good program because, they cheated. And so they're going to lose everything and you don't want to go there. But the agents aren't saying that. The agents are telling these kids to go to Michigan. So that's why I don't think this one applies as far as recruiting. But what do you think, Mac?
I mean, Ohio State has had better recruiting classes than Michigan for like ever. So if the better recruits are gravitating towards teams with inflated, also recruits gravitate to teams with CFP runs and inflated success. I'm sorry, we got blown out by Georgia in 2021 and then got shocked by TCU. Actually, you want to know why we were shocked by TCU? The coaching staff wasn't prepared. So the coaching staff wasn't prepared, and JJ McCarthy threw two pick sixes or two interceptions. I can't remember. So what is this inflated or what is this CFP run that you're talking about exactly? I mean, after the Georgia beatdown, players should have looked at Michigan and been like, okay, they're not. They got to the CFP, but now they can't do anything because they have a pedestrian quarterback. Mm-hmm. So, but in 2022, I don't buy this. I just don't. And I'm sorry, like, okay, let's think about it this way too. Even if the all 22 doesn't show the sideline, even if stealing signs, somehow makes it so that where the ball is going every single time, you don't think that the other team is able to do the same thing? And frankly, like this idea that it has an impact on recruiting, I mean, it doesn't. And if it did, then our 2025 recruiting class would have been a little bit better than it was. And also, the recruiting classes that we got when we, quote unquote, started cheating in 2021 wouldn't have actually mattered because there isn't enough time. Like, it came out that we were cheating in 2023. So this window you're talking about is, 2 to 3 years at this point, which, I mean, that's basically one recruiting class that hasn't been able to go from freshman to junior. So no, I'm sorry. The better players don't necessarily gravitate towards a team that has, first off, CFP runs, one, because they didn't exist for Michigan, and two, inflated success, because again, Ohio State had the better recruiting classes. Like, Michigan was still finishing second and third in the Big Ten with recruiting classes. So no, that's ridiculous.
The Thinker says, being able to tell what part of the field the offense is going to be attacking is everything. And I agree. That's true. But you can tell that as soon as the offense or defense gets on the field. If they line up on the right or they line up on the left.
More or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. More or less. So, like, yeah, if Michigan, especially against Penn State, Michigan did 2 tight end sets on the left, the ball was going to, first off, Blake Corum was going to get it and he was going to run left. You knew what was going to happen. So stop it. And you couldn't. And that's not a shot at Penn State. I'm just saying that happens. I mean, I think Penn State's going to be really good this year. I based on what other people are saying, they should actually have a really good shot at a national championship, which that'll be awesome. I would love to see Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State all get national titles one after another. I think that would be hilarious to troll the SEC with that because, screw the SEC. But the fact of the matter is that being able to tell where the ball is going is kind of the job of multiple analysts on the sidelines for every school. They're all trying to figure out who's getting the ball, where's the ball going, how do we call our defense properly so that we can stop it. If you're not trying to figure that out, then you're never going to call a good defense to counter what the offense is doing, and then you get fired as a defensive coordinator. So that is literally somebody's job on the sideline, is to figure out where is the ball going.
Free Climb says, I have it on good authority that the Michigan O-line was telling Penn State where they were going to run the ball in 23, and Michigan smashed them anyway.
Well, I don't know.
I don't
know.
All right, Garrison's out there.
Hey, Garrison.
Garrison's good friend.
Oh, I bet you he loved that little rant I went on.
Yeah, he says, I will continue to say this. I think at the most it had at most a 5% effect, but that's not what matters. I would disagree with that. I think if there was any impact at all, it would be less than 1% because of the number of games attended and how many different teams of those games were attended. You start to bring that percentage way down. I would give you at most 1%. Then he says, but that's not what matters. Okay. It's that it was done by illegal means, and for some odd reason that flies over most heads. No, I get it that they weren't supposed to be there. Correct. That was wrong, and that shouldn't have happened. But that doesn't impact what happened on the field. You're talking punishment. I'm talking gameplay. So if there really were paid Michigan or Michigan paid staff at those games, then they broke a rule and they need to be punished for that. But it didn't change what happened on the field. So you're talking punishment. We're talking gameplay. That's the difference. I don't know why that keeps flying over your head, Garrison.
We got to have him on soon. But also, the illegal means hasn't, from what I understand, hasn't actually been fully proven yet either.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they have they have evidence that people working for Connor Stallions went to games, something like that. But they don't necessarily know what they were able to ascertain from that. What kind of footage was gotten at that point. Right. And also I'll say this too, like, have you ever taken a picture on your cell phone of, the other side of the field? Like, there's no way you're going to be able to get a photo that's good enough to figure out what's going on and make any, discernible, actionable plan off of that.
Right.
Also, I think Garrison said, yeah. All right. So there you go.
Yeah. Stop playing semantics. It's against the rules. Yeah, I agree. It is against the rules if that's what happened. But again, it doesn't change what happened on the field. So there we go. Let me go back here.
Garrison just got put in a locker.
Uh-oh.
Man, I don't think either of us could put Garrison in a locker.
I seriously doubt it.
No.
Garrison looks pretty tough to me. Ain't nobody ever going to run all over us like that again. Hey, according to Phil Steele, Penn State's going all the way this year. So
yeah,
I mean,
you guys, you got a good coach in Jim Knowles. I mean, there's no denying that Ohio State's defense got better with Jim Knowles. I don't know what happened against Michigan, but they got better for sure.
Okay, I don't know what this is about. I do not remember this. Garrison didn't want to cut his head bald when I bet him Michigan would beat OSU. I got to hear more about that.
I thought he was already bald.
I thought he was too. Penn State Sports Talk says, we grandpa'd in Michigan. All right. Be the grandpa.
We like having you here, Penn State.
Maybe that's why they couldn't stop the run, because they're grandpa.
They're too slow.
Too slow.
Come back here with that ball, you young whippersnapper.
Frank Archie says, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Oregon all own Penn State. They take turns tossing her around. Ouch, man. Jeez.
Oh. All right.
It's against the rules to go to other games and use film from it. Stop playing. Okay. Did I do that one twice?
Yeah, you already did that one.
All right.
Move on.
Why is Ohio State the top rival to Michigan? Look up the Toledo War and you'll find out.
Also, the 10-year war.
We once went to war with Ohio over Toledo, and if they try anything funny, we'll do it again. So there's
also
that.
Who goes to war over Toledo?
It was valuable property for a while there.
Not a nice place. I don't like Toledo at all. They have a good zoo. I'll give them their zoo.
Free Climb says no Connor Stallions in 23 or 24. Enough said. Yeah, I mean Michigan kept winning in 23 even after Connor Stallions was fired. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that. Again, 24 really helps, but
yeah, 24 is that's a different story.
Yeah. Also, Garrison said, can you pull up Garrison's
There's the Blue Wolverine. Wow, I was that far back. Holy cow!
Yeah. Garrison said, "Love you too."
Crazy out there.
Glad you guys are putting out content. Love you too, man.
Where is it? Holy mackerel!
Love that we can razz each other and all that.
There's like a billion chats in here that I haven't gotten to. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
He sent it at 9:54.
Thank you, Garrison. Appreciate it. I love.
Got to have you back on soon, man.
Yeah, Garrison does. I should point this out too, because we really are friends with Garrison. He's a great guy. He's been on our show many times. Garrison does the Ohio State at the Voice of College Football channel. He also has a channel with Bryce.
Scarlet and Blue Show.
Scarlet and Blue Show. I forgot Bryce's last name. Anyway,
Bryce Sack.
Bryce Sack. So the Scarlet and Blue Show, he does that one also, and Ohio State at the Voice of College Football. Great stuff. Garrison is really smart. I know we give him a hard time because he's an Ohio State fan, but he knows what he's talking about when he's talking football. All right. So the next one here, roster retention. Players may stay longer or skip the portal to ride success built on a rigged system. I mean, that could be true, but again, don't think that the NFL recruits are dumb. The NFL recruits have a job to do, and if they don't do their job, they get fired. And they don't just get fired, they never work again, because nobody wants to hire a recruit on an NFL or a recruiter on an NFL team that can't spot good recruits versus falsely inflated recruits. You're going to lose your job, and you're going to lose it fast. Remember, the NFL is in it for the money. They're not in it for tradition and rivalries. They're in it for the money. They watch college teams closely. And if they thought for a second that Michigan was cheating and cheating in a way that changed the game, none of those guys would have been recruited. And I mean, none of them. It just doesn't matter. So the roster retention thing, if an agent was telling a college football player to stay there because, they're going to go to the NFL, I think they wouldn't have gotten into the NFL. I think I just backtracked over myself there, but needless to say, they might stay in the college system, but they would never get to the NFL. Anyway, Mac, what do you think?
I think this is one of the dumbest arguments I've ever heard. So I just want to point out that Michigan had from 2021. Yeah, from 2021 to 2023, Michigan had 28 players transfer out of the program. No, it's a little less than that because this counts 2019 as well. So listen to this. Okay. Does anybody remember Eric All, the tight end, Eric All? He was pretty good, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
He left Michigan in December of 2022. That was kind of, at the height of Michigan being good.
Yep.
I think. And he was definitely one of Michigan's first string tight ends. Now, Michigan had Colston Loveland too. So, they had players still, but Eric All was pretty good and he transferred out. RJ Moten, he was pretty good. He transferred to Florida in April of 2023. So that was really at the height of Michigan's cheating. AJ Henning, the wide receiver, transferred to Northwestern in April of 2023. Angel Anthony transferred to Oklahoma in January of 2023. Cade McNamara to Iowa in November of 2022. Miles Sims, defensive back, to Georgia Tech in 2019. So that doesn't matter. Joe Milton to Tennessee, February 2021. Nakai Hill Green to Charlotte, April 2023. Should I continue or are we good? Quarterback Alan Bowman transferred to Oklahoma State in December of 2022.
I just saw this from Garrison. Apparently, Bryce cannot do the Scarlet and Blue show this year. He's announcing it soon. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh man,
Bryce also very good analyst. I like to listen to his stuff.
Hope everything's okay. With
he
Bryce.
says, okay, we will still be calling Michigan high school games though. I forgot.
Oh, good.
Oh, I forgot what school it was. But they call some high school games. That sounds pretty cool to me.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Garrison, where do you guys call high school games? Because I feel like it's around Grand Rapids. So maybe I got to come out to a game because that would be sick. Isn't it around Grand Rapids? I think it is.
I'm not sure. How do you switch over the camera to show the avatar?
To show the avatar?
Yeah, like when you went off screen for a minute, you put up the avatar.
Oh, you stop video like that?
Oh, all right.
It's down at the bottom.
Okay. So I'm going to go get another shirt. You keep talking about the injury risk there at the bottom.
Injury risk.
Got it?
And another thing.
I'll be right back.
I really do have to keep talking. Did you draw that avatar yourself? You probably can't hear me, can you? Yeah, okay. So instead of talking about the injury risk, let's talk about Michigan beating the brakes off of Ohio State yet again. All right, so we're at, let's see, 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's Michigan 40, Ohio State 26. And Michigan's running it for about 5 yards. Oh, Donovan Edwards is on this team. Oh, yeah, that's right, because I downloaded the 2022 rosters or something like that. So there you go. 40-26. Okay, so injury risk. Knowing an opponent's plays creates targeting opportunities, higher chance of hits in vulnerable institutions or situations. Wow. Yes, on its face, this is correct. The logic is there. The problem is that Michigan didn't exactly know who was getting the ball and when. So there isn't actually a good time to just, you can't just time that up. All right. They didn't actually know like, oh, this particular person is getting this ball on this play, and this is exactly when it's going to happen. That's not a thing. All right. And besides, even if that were a thing, then why were teams then able to score period against Michigan? So there's this whole thing has been blown out of proportion. And also players against Michigan really didn't get injured much more than they normally do. And Michigan had some injuries that happened as well. Michigan had Blake Corum get injured against Illinois in 2022, ruined his Heisman. So there you go. South Christian, that is in Grand Rapids, isn't it, Garrison?
If it's not in Grand Rapids, it's around Grand Rapids.
Or it's around Grand Rapids, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait a minute. EP says, so if you got the plays legally, does that take the threat away? They didn't actually get the plays, though. I don't think. Okay, so with respect, there's several hundreds of plays, EP. So, they don't get like each individual play. What they get is, or what they can see is a sign tied to a formation. And then this is what's usually run out of that formation. So they didn't actually get individual plays. If they got individual plays, they would have, that's insane. They would have had to have gotten hundreds of plays from all of their opponents and then figured out a way to get those plays from their bowl opponents and all that when they didn't actually know who they were going to be playing at that point. So no, I understand what you're trying to say there, but like, no, you don't get the individual plays. All you get are like the formations and then what does the team normally like to run kind of stuff. My nose itches.
Let's see here. The Thinker says all you have to do is look at Michigan beating Ohio State, one of the great Ohio State teams ever, and then turning around and losing to TCU. That says it all. Not really. We had
a sophomore quarterback.
And that's not really an argument. You can't just say because you look at this one game and say that says it all. That's just not an argument. You call yourself the Thinker. You got to put more thought into this. And
we also had a sophomore quarterback. Like, come on.
When you have to defend your team from cheating allegations, we don't have to defend them. It's in the news, so we're talking about it. Lighten up. It's football. But I was thinking about this injury risk one, though, that knowing an opponent's plays creates targeting opportunities. So an opportunity is not an actuality. So if we're talking about, if what he means to say here is that knowing opponents' plays means they were targeting more, then we would be able to look at the games and say, oh, look, Michigan's targeting calls went up so many percentage points during Connor Stallion's time at Michigan. And that's not the case. So this argument is pointless.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm going to go back to what the thinker said here. And this, if we have to defend your team against cheating allegations, if somebody from Ohio State can only come up with these things to try to make it sound like Michigan did something bad, then, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Real hammer coming November 29th.
Yeah. Garrison said, who the hell came up with these points? Can you zoom out so we can show who posted this so that we can roast him?
Where does he say that?
What?
Where? Okay.
It's one of the later comments. 10:05 is when he sent it.
Okay.
But yeah. Tuoiminator.
Yeah. We're trying to figure out how to pronounce that too, Garrison. I guess, yeah, you know what? And I want to be honest too, because again, we're about the rivalry. We're not here to trash anybody, not trash anybody. We're not here to, be derogatory or anything like that. I have to say that this guy, this Toyaminator, who is an Ohio State fan, does not speak for all Ohio State fans. No. As Garrison has been pointing out, he doesn't think that it changed the game any more than 5%. So I'm assuming I shouldn't speak for Garrison, but obviously he thinks this is kind of silly too. So this is not all Ohio State fans. This is this guy and the people in the chat who agree with him. But here we are. All right. I'll trash this fan. This is fanboy logic. There you go. Okay. So here we go. Garrison here is a reasonable Ohio State fan. He's a reasonable fan because he's willing to say when somebody from his side says something wrong, he'll point it out. Appreciate that. I hope we do the same with Michigan fans. I know there have been some Michigan fans that have said things, and I'm like, no, shut up, dude. But
stop talking, please.
I'll pull up Timothy's comment here. He says, did y'all look at that comment where I said the GM for Michigan, he's talking about them trying to run NFL style, but the base is still college and nothing that the Bible schools can do to stop? Maybe he means rival schools.
Right. Oh, okay. It's like, why are we trying to hammer the Bible schools, guys? Yeah. Like, what's wrong with Liberty University? Come on. That's God's university right there.
Yeah, I'm certain Michigan was running something a little bit more NFL style, given Harbaugh's experience in the NFL. That makes sense. So, all right, should we do the t-shirt cutting?
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Should I? Let me see here. I want to take this out.
Let go of his pocket. He's never going to date you. Oh, that's good.
Hold on. What was that?
Garrison. So Moose and somebody. I can't figure out who Moose is going to war against. Moose, you're a warrior, man.
Cooked by Maniac. Oh, Michigan Maniac. If you were here.
Okay. If he were here, yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Moose, let go of his pocket. He's never going to date you. All right. Okay. So going back. Oh man, now I got to find it. Blue Wolverine. I hope you're still out there. I don't even know if I can get back to it. I want to pull up his super chat while I do this. And my goodness, you people have been chatting like crazy. Thank you very much. That's awesome. Love having you guys out there. I know he's out here somewhere. And there it is. I found it. Boom. All right. So as much as this hurts my practical German soul, I'm not an Alabama fan, but I mean, this is a new t-shirt and it's a good t-shirt. I've been wearing it for about an hour now. And it's like, that's not a bad t-shirt. I would wear this normally, but now because Blue Wolverine has given us a $50 super chat, I have to cut it up. The unfortunate thing is that I can't do two things at once. So Mac, you're going to have to sing the victors.
Hang on. I'll do you one better. I'll sing Mr. Brightside.
Oh, all right. All right.
Hang on. Let's see. I'll start with Mr. Brightside, right? That's what it's called, isn't it?
Yep.
Mr. Brightside lyrics.
Attack my microphone here.
All right.
All right.
Ready?
This is what we call a gimmick.
Sweet. Coming out of my cage, and I've been doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all. Are you doing it? All right.
I'm doing it.
It started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. This song is stupid.
I told you it was dumb.
Chest. Now he takes off her dress. Now,
right,
that's inappropriate.
Look at that.
Look, there you go. All right. Hail to the victors, valiant. Hail to the. Wait, don't you have the thing that plays the.
This is Garrison's favorite theme song. Played song.
Why does it get quiet? That's dumb.
Although I gotta admit, that's the most fun I've ever had earning $50. All right. There's the Bama symbol. The Bama.
There it is.
Should I cut this?
No, actually save that because you can make it something. Do something nice with it. Actually, that'd be kind of cool.
All right, we'll do something. Hey, maybe we can frame it and send it to Blue Wolverine.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, B-Dub, DM him with your address. We'll send that to you. He'll make you a nice little frame and all that because he does woodworking and whatnot.
I do that kind of stuff. All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate that. What?
EP's a Michigan fan, so I think I misunderstood her comment before. Sorry, EP. I don't know if I was accidentally coming at you there. I definitely didn't mean to.
Oh, all right. Oh, well, okay, because she was saying if you get the signs legally. Yeah, here we go. So if you got the plays legally, does that take the threat away?
Oh, she's saying that if okay, so either way, it's still a threat.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether it was legal or illegal. If they got the plays legally, got it. Okay, right. That makes way more sense. Sorry, EP. That's my bad. I'm so sorry. She was wondering. Oh man. I feel like crap right now. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
About that, EP. Appreciate you watching. It happens. You know, you read a tweet. You know what happens is we get in this mode. We think that everybody's sort of like trying to tear apart the argument. So then the tweet or the chat comes up and we think, oh, well, they're attacking the argument too. But
in my defense, I was already amped up because of what Garrison said. And I mean, that just happens kind of often. So.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. Mac, anything you want to add there?
PJ Fleck got extended to 2030 at Minnesota.
He did. Yeah,
he did. So I guess that
was pretty surprising.
Okay. I do want to end with this. I'm going to defend my boy, PJ Fleck. I forgot his name, but I'm going to defend my boy. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, I guess Minnesota is cool with just going 8-5 for the rest of the decade." It's Minnesota, and they're in the Big Ten. What do you expect them to do? Like, I'm sorry, they're not going to win a Big Ten championship. Purdue is likelier to win a Big Ten championship than Minnesota is, and that's just because Jeff Brom randomly had really good offenses. Of course, that was also when they were split up in the different divisions. Now that they're together, I don't think that they have a snowball's chance in hell, but still, it's Minnesota, guys.
Yeah. EP, born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. All right, go Detroit.
Nice.
My family is from Detroit. I consider myself a one generation away Detroiter.
You're a Metro Detroiter.
I lived in Detroit for about 4 weeks, about a month, and that was when I was like 4. So, but anyway, my family lived in Detroit for a long, long time, 50, 60 some odd years. So I like Detroit. Detroit is a great city.
I lived an hour away from Detroit.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Timothy wanted me to remind everybody that we are going to be on his show. Oh, what did I say? The 21st. Wait.
The 21st at 8 p.m.
The 21st at 8 p.m. we will be on Timothy's show. It is Thunder Redmond, Michigan football. So everybody check his channel out. He's doing a lot of cool stuff over there. And he shows up on Michigan Voice of College Football's call-in show with TJ a lot too. So
nice.
I'd like to have him out there. All right.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us. Unless, Mac, you got anything else to throw out there?
Don't forget to like and subscribe. 80 some odd % of you people who are watching are not subscribed. And if all of you subscribed right now, I could quit my full-time job tomorrow. So get on it.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Appreciate you being out there. Go Blue. Mac, take us out.
This is the Big Ten Team Rivalry Show. Also, it's 40-33. Michigan's going to win. All right, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Football!
Oh my goodness.
Dude.
How? What just happened?
Things are happening.
There's 11 more chats.
There's way more than that. Are we still live or are we out?
We're out.
No, he said we're live. We're live. We're still live. Dude, take us
Hey, everybody. Well, I'm glad we didn't say anything too embarrassing. I hope.
End the show. Nice job, Dad.